Welcome to News at 10. I'm Brendan Lepore. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong has decided that there is no need to declare a state of emergency in the country. Sultan Abdullah Rayatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilasha also reminded all politicians to immediately put a stop to all forms of politicking that could disrupt the stability of the country. Comptroller of the Royal Household, Dato' Ahmad Fadil Shamsuddin, in a statement today said Sultan Abdullah pointed out that there was no need for members of parliament to continue their irresponsible actions that could disrupt the stability of the existing government. He said that Sultan Abdullah and the Malay rulers had gone through the proposal to declare a state of emergency under Article 150, subsection 1 of the Federal Constitution and felt that the government had managed to contain the pandemic effectively. The King strongly believes in the ability of the government under the leadership of the Prime Minister to continue to implement policies and carry out enforcement to curb the COVID-19 pandemic from spreading. Sultan Abdullah also stressed that the 2021 budget to be tabled in Parliament is very important to the people to combat COVID-19 and to restore the nation's economy. As such, he said the financial allocation is much needed by frontliners to ensure they can carry out their jobs and responsibilities smoothly. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong also urged everyone, regardless of their background and political leaning, to set aside all differences and unite and play their respective roles to help the government and the authorities to curb the spread of COVID-19. Malaysia recorded 823 new COVID-19 infections today, with Sabah continuing to record the highest number of cases at 533. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said the country also reported 8 new fatalities, bringing the death toll to 229. Malaysia also discharged 579 patients, which means the total of recoveries is 17,134. As the total number of active cases went up to 9,202, or rather 202, cases cumulatively. The total number of cases since the outbreak began in January now stands at 26,565. A total of 9 new COVID-19 clusters were also reported today. Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham said 4 of the clusters were from Sabah. He said the Tite cluster has 12 new cases involving Keningau, and so far 23 individuals have tested positive. Another cluster is the Omadal cluster, which has 9 new cases involving Semperna, and so far 21 individuals have tested positive. The Bandaran cluster has 5 new cases involving Kota Kinabalu, with 12 individuals tested positive so far. Additionally, the Jambul cluster has 1 new case involving Sandakan. So far, 8 individuals have tested positive. 6 individuals have tested positive so far in the Bayan cluster involving Seberang Perai in Penang. The Mentari cluster, meanwhile, involves Petaling, Klang and Gombak in Selangor, Seremban in Negeri Sembilan and Kepong in Kuala Lumpur. It has 5 new cases and so far 17 individuals were tested positive. 15 individuals were tested positive in the Jenny cluster, while the Selada cluster so far has 7 positive cases. To date, 10 individuals were tested positive in the Makekar cluster, which involves Johor Bahru and Kulai, Kuala Terengganu, Marang, Kemaman, Dungun and Klang. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah has called on all frontliners and those behind the scenes to continue the concerted effort in combating the spread of COVID-19 in the country, especially in Sabah. He said frontline workers should prevent the spread by taking proactive and preemptive measures while taking action on public health in the field and treating patients at hospitals and the COVID-19 quarantine and treatment centers, PKRC. Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham also advised them to persevere and have patience in carrying out the tasks entrusted to them, as the country now depends on them. The Health Director General said that frontliners had been battling the pandemic for the last 10 months 24/7, and some were reaching the end of their tatters. He has also called for some quarters to learn from the Sabah state election that was held on the 26th of September. He said the nation needed unity and togetherness to fight this war against COVID-19, not against each other. Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham also said it was challenging to safeguard health and economy while reaching a balance between the two as the war against the coronavirus rages on. Barbed wire fencing is not necessary for the Kepayan prison and staff quarters areas, even though it has been placed under the Enhanced Movement Control Order (EMCO) since 21st of October for 2 weeks following the rise in COVID-19 cases. Kota Kinabalu District Police Chief ACP Habibi Manjiji said this was because the area was already surrounded by fencing and had only one entry and exit.
Menapis mereka yang keluar masuk di kawasan kuartus ini untuk mengelakkan penularan COVID-19. Jadi kalau kita lihat di sini hanya pekerja saja, hanya staf saja yang dibenarkan keluar masuk, yaitu staf penjara saja.
He said this to reporters after visiting the EMCO area today. He added that police would also intensify monitoring activities in 9 districts in Kota Kinabalu, including Pulau Gaya, to control the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Sabah and Labuan Prisons Director Nora Musa said the situation in Kepayan Prison was under control and that prison personnel had been providing counselling to COVID-19 positive employees and inmates. She said the Kepayan Prison still has the capacity to isolate inmates who are COVID-19 positive in recovery rooms as stipulated by the Health Ministry. Police have detected the actions of some workers who abuse the letters of consent from their employers to move about without logical excuses on weekends during the Conditional Movement Control Order (CMCO), which came into effect on 14 October. Central District Police Chief ACP S. Shanmugamurthy Chinya said that in such situation, the police would immediately contact their respective employers for follow-up actions. He said there were services sectors which only operated on normal days, but some employees were found to be taking advantage of the situation by using the letters of consent to get past roadblocks on weekends for personal purposes and without logical reasons. ACP Shanmugamurthy said there were also some workers who made copies of the letters for their colleagues, but it is not possible that they are all working at the same time on non-working days. In addition, he said a more careful and frequent inspection will also be done on the service sector, such as courier delivery service. Speaking to reporters after monitoring the compliance of the CMCO at several roadblocks in the district of Central today, ACP Shanmugamurthy said the police also detected several individuals who gave the excuse that they wanted to deliver packages or items by furnishing the related documents, but further inspection showed that they were actually moving empty-handed. Authorities yesterday arrested 688 people for violating COVID-19 Standard Operating Procedures (SOPs) under the Conditional Movement Control Order (CMCO) involving various offences. Senior Minister Security Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob today said failure to observe physical distancing and wearing a face mask remain the top 2 violations, despite the government's repeated calls for the public to adhere to health protocols amid sharp spikes in daily COVID-19 cases. From the total, he said 678 were compounded while the rest were detained. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri in a statement said among the violations were failure to practice physical distancing, not wearing a face mask, failure to provide registration materials, making inter-district or state travel and others. The arrests were following 50,000 inspections on business, government and private premises conducted by some 11,000 security personnel. These checks were also conducted in transportation hubs. The senior minister added that the Construction Industry Development Board (CIDB) inspected 36 construction sites in the country, with 13 found to be complying with the SOP, while 23 were not in operation. He said security forces also arrested 10 immigrants suspected of not having valid travel documents as part of the daily Operasi Benteng, the border tightening exercise that is seen as a trigger behind the new wave of infections. 2 people have claimed trial at the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court to cheating an individual of 2.5 million ringgit on the pretense of helping the victim to get forest cleaning projects in Mersing. The accused, company owner Mat Nazri Kazmi, 46, and agent Mohammad Yazid Ahmad, 39, pleaded not guilty when the charge was read in front of Magistrate Mohammad Farid Nazrin Ahmad today. According to the charge sheet, the duo had allegedly cheated a 68-year-old man to hand over a cheque worth 2.5 million ringgit, supposedly to help him get forest cleaning projects in Jamaluang, Mersing. The accused had also allegedly claimed that the projects had received approval from the Johor royal family. The offence was allegedly committed at an office in Pusat Perdagangan Damga Utama, Skudai, at about 2 p.m. on 11 April last year. The charge was framed under Section 420 of the Penal Code and may also be punished under Section 34 of the same Act. Mat Nazri was represented by lawyer N. Rubini, while Muhammad Yazid was represented by lawyer Sheikh Salim Daud. Magistrate Muhammad Farid set bail at 13,000 ringgit with one surety for each of the accused and set the 6th of December for next mention. They also required to hand over their passports and report to the nearest police station once a week. Both posted bail. The case was prosecuted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Tan Chung Yu. The Pasir Putih Magistrates Court today ordered a labourer who was charged with murdering his 8-month-old son to be sent to Hospital Bahagia Ulu Kinta in Perak to determine his mental status. Magistrate Muhammad Dini Shazwan Abdul Shukur made the order following a request by lawyer Muhammad Izwan Ishak, representing one Roslan Wan Mustafa, for his client to be sent to the hospital for mental observation. Muhammad Izwan also applied to the court to set a date within a month for mention of the case and submission of document pending the autopsy and psychiatric reports. The court then set the 24th of November for mention. Earlier, one Roslan, 40, nodded after the charge was read out to him, but no plea was recorded as the case comes under the jurisdiction of the High Court. He was charged with murdering one Muhammad Afiq Zafwan, one Roslan, in Kampung Sungai Dua, Repek, Bacho at 10 a.m. on 13 October. The charge carries the death sentence if found guilty. Wan Roslan was also charged under Section 324 of the Penal Code with voluntarily causing hurt using a broom on his wife, Nur Hanifa Muhammad, 32, at the same place, time and date. The prosecution was conducted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Siti Asma'a Che Omar. A man was found dead in a car at the southbound section of the Tapah Rest and Relax R&R stop this morning. A Perak Fire and Rescue Department spokesman said they were alerted at 11:30 a.m. that the victim had been trapped in a Honda Jazz car. The spokesman in the statement today said a team from the Tapah Fire and Rescue Station was immediately dispatched to the scene, and on arrival it was found that the car engine was not running. He said with the help of special tools, the victim was removed from the car, but he was confirmed dead by a health team, adding that the victim was identified as Ng Ka Weng, aged 26. The rescue operation ended at 12:12 noon, and the body was handed over to the police for further action. Meanwhile, Tapah District Police Chief Superintendent Wan Azharuddin Wan Ismail said inspection on the car found that a pot of charcoal on the floorboard at the back that had caught fire. Upon interrogating the victim's father, he said it was found that the victim, who was still single and worked as a carpenter, lived alone at a condominium in Manglebu, Ipoh, and did not share any of his problems with his family. However, Superintendent Wan Azharuddin said there were no injuries or criminal elements in the incident, and the case had been classified as sudden death. To come, Johor government looking at ways to help Larkin Central traders. The frequency of LRT, MRT and monorail trains will be reduced from tomorrow until enforcement of the Conditional Movement Control Order CMCO in Selangor, Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya has been lifted. Prasarana Malaysia Prasarana Group Chief Operating Officer Datin Rolia Noah said the company had obtained permission from the Transport Ministry to offset the frequency of trains based on demand following the huge drop in passenger flow due to the CMCO. Datin Nurlia, in a statement today, said the LRT, MRT and monorail services, however, will operate at the same time from 6 a.m. to midnight, adding that the change is only in frequency according to time and demand. She said the frequency that is set, however, is just a guide, and the operation of trains and all routes is closely monitored by the Operations Control Center, which is authorized to add trains if required when there is increase in demand at certain times. According to Datin Nurlia, the frequency of the Rapid KL bus service and the Jom Nai MRT shuttle bus will also be reduced from tomorrow, also for the same reason. Rapid Bus, however, she said, will continue to monitor closely through the operation of the bus control center. The Johor government is looking at ways to help 150 traders at the Larkin Central Bus Terminal whose livelihoods adversely affected by COVID-19 pandemic. State Investment, Entrepreneur Development, Cooperative and Human Resource Committee Chairman Muhammad Ishar Ahmad said this include rental reduction for traders, but further discussion would be held with both traders and the management tomorrow.
Saya akan duduk berbincang dengan orang besok dalam pukul 11 pagi besok. Kita tengok kaedah apa yang terbaik. Biasanya kaedah dia adalah all about discount lah. Waiver ataupun discount itu yang saya akan sarankan.
He said this to reporters after officiating the Johor Food Truck Grants 3P Program Certificates presentation ceremony in Johor Bahru today. Muhammad Izzah said the management of Larkin Central had previously given a rental rebate of up to 50% to essential businesses and 100% to non-essentials from 18 March until 30th of April. Meanwhile, he said rental rebate was also given for May and June between 30 and 50% depending on the type of business conducted. Traders at the terminal are reported to be in the red after being unable to pay rent due to a shortage of customers since the Movement Control Order MCO implemented in March, especially after the closure of the country's borders, which affected the number of visitors commuting to Singapore. That's it from us this evening in our top stories. State of emergency not necessary. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. Till then, I'm Brenda Lipol. Thanks for watching.